Hey guys, here's another video for the new to racing group. This one I want to talk about is a shift point. This is something that is greatly misunderstood with a lot of guys that are just getting into racing. Because a lot of people get on the internet, ask where should I shift, and people just throw out a bunch of numbers without really understanding or knowing what you have, right? And so, because it does make a difference. And I'll tell you a little bit of a story. Years ago, I was putting together this engine, pretty young, and I was talking to this friend of mine who was a bracket racer, and he was explaining to me about, don't have a certain number set in your head. Build it the way you want to build it, as far as looking for certain power or whatever. But when it comes to the shift point, if you don't understand a dynagraph or anything like that, then best thing to do is at the track. And what he had done, he built this one engine that should have been 6,500 RPMs. Everything was based around it making power up to 6,500. And so he had an air shifter on his car, so he was able to adjust it down. So he goes to the track and he starts off at 6,000 RPM shift point. And he did a couple of passes, comes back, and he turned his shifter up to 6,200 for a shift point, and his car slowed down. He thought that was odd, so he bumped it up to 6,400. It slowed down even further. So then he goes and he sets his shifter to shift all the way back down at 6,000. The car picked up time again, back to where it was. So he went down to 5,800. Car went faster or quicker. And so he kept messing around with it, and the car was the happiest. The best time he was able to pull was right around 5,300 RPMs. And he's like, man, but if you was feeling the car, it just felt like you was undershifting way far. But when you're at the track, the timers don't lie, man. So that's something you got to keep in mind, that you may think you need to go 6,500 or 7,000 or whatever it may be, but the car wants what it wants, right? And of course, when you change different things, timing or whatever, that could potentially change your shift point as well. So just something that you got to get it to the track, work on that reaction time. But you gotta pay close attention to your shift points, because it can mean a lot. It can mean, man, in some cases, I know guys that picked up almost a full second because they had no idea that they were overshifting by 1,000 RPMs. And so that's a dramatic number when it comes to getting down the track. A second, that's a lot. And here's a rule of thumb. If you're out on the street and you're running your car, if you feel any type of momentum loss, it's too late. You've overshifted. All right? That you should not feel your car react before you shift. Okay, so that's something to keep in mind. It will feel like it's less. So the best thing to do really is to get to the track, test out your theories on where you think you need to shift your car. But if you want to get down the track, you want to win the races, overshifting is not going to get it done. Years ago, I was building some engines for some guys that were dirt tracks, and they were in can't remember what class it was, but basically your bomber class type of stuff, maybe right above bomber. And this guy was always telling me that he was in front of the rear. I'm not sure what that meant. I don't know if that meant next to last or 3 before the last place. I'm not sure what that meant, but he was always telling me that was where he was at. So I'm talking to him, those guys, because they're running such a short track, he was running, like a 6 Series gear in the car. And I kept telling him, he was talking about how he was racing at 7,200 RPMs. And I was like, dude, there's no way that your engine setup, you're building power up there. There's just no possible way. He goes, oh, absolutely, because he felt that if the engine would go to 7,000, he's making power at 7,000 RPMs. So I'm going to get into detail on that story on my next video. But do pay attention to that, because that's a major hit, man. And he figured out he wasn't making power at 7,000. So keep those in mind. Get to the track, work on your reaction time, but pay attention to your shift point. Your shift point is going to help you get down the track and win some races. So you guys have fun, be safe when you're racing, and we will see you soon. Y'all take care. Oh, by the way, hit that subscribe button, man. I need to get this grown a little bit. And if you like the video, like it. Help me out. We'll see you soon.